All right, guys, so I have an exercise that I want you to do for the next 21 days. I want you to, as it relates to this chapter and falling asleep with this wish fulfilled. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I want to cover this chapter, which is on sleep and your feelings of having the things that you want as you're falling asleep and entering the subconscious mind, and how important this is. And Neville Goddard covered this in Feeling is the Secret. Chapter 2 is sleep. I want to cover this chapter, and I want to emphasize some things and how important it is to create a feeling of already having, and how powerful it is at that inception point of when you are falling asleep and how you're falling asleep, what feelings, what thoughts you have as you're falling asleep, and how important that is when it comes to the law of assumption and actually manifesting the world that you want. And if you are, say you're using affirmations throughout the day, all day long, you're forcing yourself, you're trying to be persistent, and you're fighting yourself on affirming all day long, and you find yourself just having all these issues with affirming, you can fall asleep with a new version of yourself, and that new version will automatically affirm. That's what Neville Goddard says, free will and no action is necessary, is because when you fall asleep with a new version of yourself, with a new concept of yourself, of being persistent and being consistent, then you will automatically be a consistent and persistent person with your affirmations all day long. But sleep is the door into the subconscious to impress the subconscious with a new version of yourself to do that. So you can skip all these other things of fighting yourself all day long with your present version of self, but changing yourself into a new version of yourself as you're falling asleep will create this new person that will be persistent, be able to do all these things without having to fight yourself and reprogram yourself manually throughout the day. You can do this by falling. That's why I want to cover this chapter and how important this is, guys. Okay, so sleep. The life that occupies 1/3 of our stay on earth is the natural door into the subconscious. So it is with sleep that we are now concerned. The conscious 2/3 of our life on earth is measured by the degree of attention we give sleep. Our understanding of and delight in what sleep has to bestow will cause us, night after night, to set out for it as though we were keeping an appointment with a lover. My grandfather used to talk about this a lot, because every time he would go to sleep, he would be in such a great mood. I noticed, because when he was getting older and I was taking care of him because he had dementia, but I did some meditation techniques with him that got his mind back. One thing that I noticed so much about my grandfather was when he went to sleep, he had a big smile on his face and he was just lit up. Like that was a moment of his, like that was the greatest thing in his world was meeting his subconscious lover when he went to sleep. And that was something that really resonated with me, and it really took me to that next level. And I always made sure, and I focused on that gratitude part of when I'm falling asleep, just being totally satisfied with my entire life and having that feeling of just overjoy of meeting my subconscious lover in sleep. And that's the way you need to look at it when you're falling asleep, is that you're meeting your subconscious lover. And it's just a great opportunity, to go to sleep and to be grateful in that moment and just have everything that you want and be completely content and satisfied in that moment and have that feeling of relief as you enter your subconscious lover, guys. And that's what's so important. Job covers this in the Bible right here. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumbering upon the bed, he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instructions. So in Job, he was actually telling us in this book of the Bible how important it is, how important sleep is, and the subconscious mind, and impressing these and giving the subconscious mind these instructions that you're going to wake up the next day and you're going to be instructed to do something automatically the following day in this new version of yourself. So Job 33 was telling us this in a dream, in a vision of the night. Okay, so it is in sleep and in prayer, a state akin to sleep, that man enters the subconscious to make his impressions and receive his instructions. In these states, the conscious and subconscious are creatively joined. The male and female become one flesh. Sleep is the time when the male or conscious mind turns from the world of sense to seek its lover or subconscious self. The subconscious, unlike the woman of the world who marries her husband to change him, has no desire to change the conscious waking state, but loves it as it is and faithfully reproduces its likeness in the outer world of form. The conditions and events of your life are your children formed from the molds of your subconscious impressions in sleep. They are made in the image and likeness of your innermost feeling, that they may reveal you unto yourself. It may reveal you to yourself, guys. As in heaven, so on earth. Matthew 6:10, Luke 11:2. As in the subconscious, so on earth. What you fall asleep with, that feeling and the thoughts that you have as you're drifting into the subconscious level, that's what you're going to see in your 3D world right here. As in the subconscious, so on earth. And whatever you have in conscious as you go to sleep is the measure of your expression in the waking 2/3 of your life on earth. Nothing stops you from realizing your objective except your failure to feel that you are already that which you wish to be, or that you are already in possession of the things sought. Your subconscious gives form to your desires only when you feel your wish fulfilled as you drift into your subconscious lover. The unconsciousness of sleep is the normal state of the subconscious, because all things come from within yourself, and your conception of yourself determines that which comes. You should always feel the wish fulfilled before you drop off to sleep. You should always feel the wish fulfilled before you drop off to sleep. And that's what my grandfather emphasized, and much of his success was based solely on this right here. And he transformed himself, reprogrammed the subconscious mind, and sealed his instructions for the following day, and that your world will shift based on that feeling that you had as you drifted to sleep. So to be realized then, the wish must be resolved into the feeling of being or having or witnessing the state sought. This is accomplished by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the feeling which comes in response to the question, how would I feel were my wish realized? This is a very good exercise right here that you can do as you're drifting to sleep. As you're drifting to sleep, just to capture that feeling as you're entering into the subconscious lover, is you ask yourself, how would I feel right now were my wish realized? Had I had everything that I wanted right now, what would that feeling be like? And that's when he goes over the visualizations and the mental rehearsal of creating, and that creates that feeling. But you can even ask yourself this question, and it will create, your mind will automatically come up with images associated with that wish fulfilled. So you can do this. How would I feel were my wish realized? That is the feeling which should monopolize and immobilize your attention as you relax into sleep. You must be in the subconscious of being or having that which you want to be or to have before you drop off to sleep. All right, so once man is asleep, man has no freedom of choice. His entire slumber is dominated by his last waking concept of self. So the feeling that you have, the thoughts that you have right as you drift into sleep, that's going to dominate your entire slumber. And that's what's going to be created in your 3D world. That's the concept of yourself that you're taking into and sealing your instructions with the subconscious mind, or your subconscious lover. And that's what's going to reproduce in your 3D world in your following days to come. So it follows, therefore, that he should always assume the feeling of accomplishment and satisfaction before he retires in sleep. Come before me with singing and thanksgiving. Psalms 95:2. This is beautiful right here. Okay, so come before me with singing and thanksgiving. That's the subconscious mind. With singing and thanksgiving, your wish fulfilled. What is that feeling? And that is singing and thanksgiving and gratitude and feeling satisfaction as you enter into sleep. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Psalms 104. It was telling us all through the Bible about this, about what you're falling asleep with, and sealing your instructions and entering the subconscious lover with thanksgiving and praise and gratitude, singing and thanksgiving. Your mood prior to sleep defines your state of consciousness as you enter into the presence of your everlasting lover, the subconscious. She sees you, because they're saying he's interpreting the conscious mind as the male aspect and the subconscious as a woman. So he says she, your subconscious, sees you exactly as you feel yourself to be. So your subconscious lover, the woman, sees your male aspect, which is conscious, what you're conscious of, and as you impress that, as you fall asleep, that's how your subconscious lover sees you. So that's what reproduces your world, your outside 3D world, is what you're falling asleep with, that feeling that you're falling asleep with. So if, as you prepare for sleep, you assume and maintain the consciousness of success by feeling I am successful, you must be successful, because your subconscious lover, which is the subconscious mind, she will see you as that successful person. And then automatically, because she's impersonal, she only knows what you tell it through your feelings and what you're falling asleep with. So you have to be successful. Your life on earth will then be rich, successful. You will have everything that you want, depending on the mood that you have as you're falling asleep. Okay, so, and this is how you do it. Lie flat on your back with your head on a level with your body. Feel as you would were you in possession of your wish, and quietly relax into unconsciousness. By asking that question as well, that's what he said. How would I feel right now were my wish realized? If my life was the way that I wanted it to be already, like it was right now, how would I feel right now? And that's one thing that I noticed about my grandfather when he fell asleep. He had this big smile on his face as he's going to sleep. He's preparing to go to sleep. He's just in this mood of excitement, of praise and thanksgiving, of falling asleep with this feeling. It's just a really good example that my grandfather set by showing me that, and actually me witnessing him doing that and seeing the results show up in his life, from falling asleep with this praise and thanksgiving, and how the subconscious mind and how the Bible was telling us this, but symbolically, but now we're able to break that down and actually interpret this. And this is the way to at one-ment with your desire as being accomplished, falling asleep with that feeling of being satisfied completely in your life with no problems, just having a great life and being totally content and satisfied and falling asleep with that feeling. And it will happen because the subconscious lover, your subconscious lover, the subconscious mind is impersonal. It only knows what you tell it through your feelings, and it has to reproduce that into your world. Okay, so he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Psalms 121:4. Nevertheless, he giveth his beloved sleep. Psalms 127:2. The subconscious never sleeps. The subconscious never sleeps. Sleep is the door through which the conscious, waking mind passes to be creatively joined to the subconscious. Sleep conceals the creative act while the objective world reveals it. In sleep, man impresses the subconscious with his conception of himself. In sleep, as you're drifting to sleep, man impresses the subconscious with his conception of himself. All right, so what more beautiful description of this romance of the conscious and the subconscious is there than that told in the Song of Solomon? By night on my bed I sought him whom my soul loveth. 3:1. I found him whom my soul loveth. I held him, and I not let him go, until I had brought him into my mother's house, and into the chamber of her that conceived me. Chapter 3, verse 4. Preparing to sleep, you feel yourself into the state of the answered wish, and then relax into unconsciousness. Your realized wish is he whom you seek. By night on your bed, you seek the feeling of the wish fulfilled, that you may take it with you into the chamber of her that conceived you, into sleep or the subconscious which gave you form, that this wish also may be given expression. This is the way to discover and conduct your wishes into the subconscious. Feel yourself into the state of the realized wish and quietly drop off to sleep. Feel yourself in the state of the realized wish and quietly drop off to sleep. Night after night, you should assume the feeling of being, having, and witnessing that which you seek to be, possess, and see manifested. Never go to sleep feeling discouraged or dissatisfied. Never sleep in the consciousness of failure. Never sleep in the consciousness of lack or failure. This is very important, guys, right here. Very, very important. And I also find that if you're having any issues, like if you're doing like an affirmation challenge where you're doing affirmations all day long, but you find yourself, your mind just doesn't have that attention. You're not able to focus on it. And you find yourself at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I only affirmed like 3 times today. Nothing has changed. You can fall asleep with a new version of yourself. And when you impress, you can do these affirmations as you're falling asleep. You can affirm, I am extremely wealthy. I am now making this much money, or I am now in this great relationship, or I now have this great career, or I now have this physique that I want, or I am now healthy. I am now eating the right foods. I'm doing the right things. How would that feel? And you're just affirming these things, and then you're creating a new mood and a new feeling as you're falling asleep. So you can also do that, or listen to my meditations as you're falling asleep, being conscious and feeling those affirmations as they're being spoken to you as you're drifting into sleep. You can also do that, and that will impress the subconscious mind with a version of you that will be affirming, as you wake up. Then you wake up and you'll be automatically affirming. Then you find yourself, you're not having to fight the subconscious mind, because if you're affirming all day, you're doing it manually. You're doing it manually all day. If you're not impressing the subconscious mind with you being somebody that affirms constantly, like you're not falling asleep with that new version of yourself that affirms, then you're just fighting it manually all day long and find yourself that you're not coming up with great results. Fall asleep affirming with that version of yourself that does affirm, and it is persistent while affirming, then you will wake up the next day and you'll find it much more simple. You will be automatically affirming throughout the day. So this might help you if you're doing some sort of like an affirmation challenge where you find yourself where you're not able to do it, you're forgetting, your mind's drifting. Impress the subconscious mind before you go to sleep and watch what happens, because your subconscious lover has no choice but to give you the feeling or the person that you fall asleep with. So if you fall asleep affirming and you're a new person, that you're actually being persistent as you're falling asleep affirming and being consciously aware, listening to meditations, that will be reproduced into your following day, and you won't have so much failure, or you won't have so much, you're not going to be fighting the subconscious mind as much and doing it manually throughout the day if you're falling asleep with it. All right, so night after night, you should assume the feeling of being, having, and witnessing that which you seek to be, possess, and see manifested. Never go to sleep feeling discouraged or dissatisfied. Never sleep in the consciousness of failure. Your subconscious, whose natural state is sleep, sees you as you believe yourself to be. And whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, the subconscious will faithfully embody your belief. As you feel, so do you impress her, and she, the perfect lover, gives form to these impressions and outpictures them as the children of her beloved. That's a really good metaphor there. I love that. Thou art all fair, my love, there is no spot in thee. Song of Solomon 4:7 is the attitude of mind to adopt before dropping off to sleep. Thou art all fair, my love, there is no spot in thee. There's no problems in your life. You're completely satisfied, content in your life. Everything is working out for you perfectly. And that is the attitude of mind to adopt before dropping off to sleep. Disregard appearances and feel that things are as you wish them to be. For he calleth things that are not seen as though they were, and the unseen become seen. Romans 4:17. To assume the feeling of satisfaction is to call conditions into being which will mirror satisfaction. Signs follow, they do not precede. Proof that you are will follow the consciousness that you are. It will not precede it. You are an eternal dreamer dreaming non-eternal dreams. Your dreams take form as you assume the feeling of their reality. Do not limit yourself to the past, guys. The past is not real. The present moment is the only moment that is real. So if anything in your past, do not attach yourself to that as you're falling asleep, and be conscious of your thoughts as you're falling asleep, and making sure that you're not absorbed in past mistakes that you've made, or the lack of abundance that you've had in the past. Do not limit yourself to the past. Change it, guys. Monitor your thoughts. Fall asleep with this new conception of yourself as you're falling asleep. You're eternal dreamer dreaming non-eternal dreams. Your dreams take form as you assume the feeling of their reality as you fall asleep. Do not limit yourself to the past, knowing that nothing is impossible to consciousness. Nothing is impossible to consciousness. Begin to imagine states beyond the experience of the past. Whatever the mind of man can imagine, man can realize. All objective and visible states were first subjective invisible states, and you called them into visible by assuming the feeling of their reality. The creative process is first imagining and then believing the state imagined. Always imagine and expect the best. Always imagine and be in a feeling of expectancy of something great that's going to happen to you. Always imagine and expect the best. You can do this as you're falling asleep as well. Just in that feeling of expectancy of something great happening to you, like something great, like isn't it wonderful, or something great is about to happen to me. That feeling state, of that relief that that something is about to happen to you. That is the way to at one mint with your desire, and falling asleep with that feeling will reproduce that in your visible world. The world cannot change until you change your conception of it. As within, so without. Nations, as well as people, are only what you believe them to be. No matter what the problem is, no matter where it is, no matter whom it concerns, you have no one to change but yourself. And you have neither opponent nor helper in bringing about the change within yourself. You have nothing to do. You have nothing to do but convince yourself of the truth of that which you desire to see manifested. That's it, guys. That is, you have nothing to do but convince yourself of the truth of that which you desire to see manifested as already being done. As soon as you succeed in convincing yourself of the reality of the state sought, results follow to confirm your fixed belief. You never suggest to another the state which you desire to see him express. Instead, you convince yourself that he is already that which you desire him to be. Realization of your wish is accomplished by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You cannot fail unless you fail to convince yourself of the reality of your wish. A change of belief is confirmed by a change of expression. Every night, as you drop off to sleep, feel satisfied and spotless, for your subjective lover always forms the objective world in the image and likeness of your conception of it, the conception defined by your feeling. The waking 2/3 of your life on earth ever corroborates or bears witness to your subconscious impressions. The actions and events of the day are effects. They are not causes. Free will is only freedom of choice. Choose ye this day whom ye will serve. Joshua 24:15 is your freedom to choose the kind of mood you assume. But the expression of the mood is the secret of the subconscious. The subconscious receives impressions only through the feelings of man, and in a way known only to itself, gives these impressions form and expression. The actions of man are determined by his subconscious impressions. His illusion of free will is his belief in freedom of action, is but ignorance of the causes which make him act. He thinks himself free because he has forgotten the link between himself and the event. Man awake is under the compulsion to express his subconscious impressions. If in the past he has unwisely impressed himself, then let him begin to change his thought and feeling, for only as he does, so will he change his world. Do not waste one moment in regret, for to think feelingly of the mistakes of the past is to reinfect yourself. Let the dead bury the dead, Matthew 8:22 and Luke 9:60. Turn from appearances and assume the feeling that would be yours were you already the one you wish to be. Feeling a state produces that state. Feeling a state produces that state. The part you play on the world stage is determined by your conception of yourself. By feeling your wish fulfilled and quietly relaxing into sleep, you cast yourself in a star role to be played on earth tomorrow. And while asleep, you are rehearsed and instructed in your part. The acceptance of the end automatically wills the means of realization. Make no mistake about this. If, as you prepare for sleep, you do not consciously feel yourself into the state of the answered wish, then you will take with you into the chamber of her that conceived you the sum total of the reactions and feelings of the waking day. And while asleep, you will be instructed in the manner in which they will be expressed tomorrow. You will rise believing that you are a free agent, not realizing that every action and event of the day is predetermined by your concept of self as you fell asleep. Your only freedom then is your freedom of the reactions of the day. You are free to choose how you feel and react to the day's drama but the drama, the actions, events, and circumstances of the day have already been determined. Unless you consciously and purposely define the attitude of mind with which you go to sleep, you unconsciously go to sleep in the composite attitude of mind made up of all the feelings and reactions of the day. Every reaction makes a subconscious impression, and unless counteracted by an opposite and more dominant feeling, is the cause of future action. Ideas enveloped in feeling are creative actions. Use your divine right wisely through your ability to think and feel. You have dominion over all creation. Through your ability to think and feel, you have dominion over all creation. I love this part right here, guys. This is really important. While you are awake in your 3D world, you are a gardener selecting seed for your garden. So remember that all your feeling states, all your thoughts, all your inner dialogue, your inner thinking, what you're reacting to throughout the day, you are selecting that seed for your garden, and it will grow. Whatever you are attached to from your inner dialogue and your thinking, your affirmations, your thoughts, your feelings, your moods, remember that those are seeds that you're selecting for your garden, and they will grow. Except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. John 12:24. Your conception of yourself as you fall asleep is the seed you drop into the ground of the subconscious. Dropping off to sleep feeling satisfied and happy compels the exact same conditions and events to appear in your world, which confirm these attitudes of mind. Sleep is the door into heaven. What you take in as a feeling, you bring out as a subconscious action or object in space. So sleep in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is really important. Sleep is the door into heaven. This is a great way to look at it. Sleep is the door into heaven. What you take in as a feeling, you bring out as a condition or an action or an object an object in space. So what you feel as you're falling asleep, that's what creates conditions. Your actions throughout the day are taking place because of your feelings as you're falling asleep. And all the objects in space you see throughout your day are based on that feeling that you're falling asleep with. So these seeds are being planted and growing in your garden. So be very careful of your moods, of your inner dialogue, of your inner thoughts, and start taking action towards that, because that is what's creating your 3D world. So sleep in the feeling of the wish fulfilled only. All right, guys, that is the end of this chapter, but I'm going to cover this part right here one more time with you because this is so important. It is in sleep and in prayer, a state akin to sleep, that man enters the subconscious to make his impressions and receive his instructions. So what you're falling asleep with, you are impressing your subconscious mind or your subconscious lover, and then you are being instructed by your subconscious lover to take action in your 3D world the next day. So whatever you're falling asleep with, you are programming or impressing the subconscious mind, and then the subconscious mind is then giving those instructions and recreating that back into your 3D world the following day. So this is very important, because in these states, the conscious and subconscious are creatively joined. The male and female becomes one flesh when you fall asleep. So the conscious and subconscious become one flesh together as you're falling asleep. Sleep is the time when the male or conscious mind turns from the world of sense to seek its subconscious lover. All right, guys, so I have an exercise that I want you to do for the next 21 days. I want you to, as it relates to this chapter and falling asleep with this wish fulfilled, I want you to choose one of my meditations that I have on my playlist, which I'll post at the end of this video. You'll see it on the screen. I want you to find one of those meditations that pertains to something that you're trying to create in your world. And I want you to, at the early stage, or as you're drifting to sleep, as you feel yourself starting to drift asleep, as I'm impressing the subconscious mind with you and creating a new version of yourself as you're falling asleep, I want you to ask yourself this question: how would I feel right now were my wish realized? And what is that wish? So if it's something specific, I want you to make that question specific to that thing that you're trying to create. So if it's a new physique or a new relationship, I want you to say, how would I feel right now if I were in that relationship right now? If it was already done, or if I already had this physique, or I already had this career, or I already had this amount of money, how would I feel right now? And then allow my words to finish the job. So you're creating this feeling. You're creating this feeling by asking this question and then drifting into your subconscious lover while listening to that meditation after asking this question. Some of my meditations already have questions that are asking you to get into a feeling state, but I want you to also ask yourself this question during the meditation, somewhere along the lines of, and somewhere in the beginning, or as you're getting sleepy and you feel that you might be falling asleep soon. Get into that feeling state. Ask yourself that question, whatever specifically that pertains to, of your wish fulfilled. All right, guys, do that for 21 days. I will post that playlist right here on the screen for you now. Find the one that pertains specifically to you, but they're all great. All right, guys, I love you guys very much, and I will see you guys in the next video. And if you guys want me to cover more of this book here, Feeling is a Secret, let me know in the column box below. And don't forget to give me one thing you guys are grateful for. Thank you, guys. I love you, and I will see you guys in the next video.
By your whole being, so that your whole body dances to the rhythm of the eternal God.